Hi everyone, my name is Meaghan Ranz, and I've really enjoyed this class with all of you. I often thought, man, it would have been fun to meet everyone in person instead of in an online format, but I really have enjoyed reading your posts and writing posts and learning together. So before I jump into my presentation, a little bit about me. I am originally from Southern Illinois, about 30 minutes east of St. Louis. I graduated from JBU in 2016 with a degree in Family and Human Services, which is essentially social work and counseling. I'm currently a project coordinator at Soderquist Leadership, doing a fellowship program with them for 2 years, so I'm halfway through working full-time and going to school full-time, which is really fun. I love to be outdoors, love to bike and run, and especially when I'm with my family and friends, I'm really blessed by the people in my life. So that's a little bit about me. My definition of leadership has changed a little bit in this course, but it's essentially the authentic journey of learning to thrive, as well as having the foresight and the insight to remove barriers for others to also persevere and thrive in the pursuit of a common goal. And so the things that this class has really influenced are these three pieces in red. So the authentic journey, that's not something that's new to me, but I think adding it into my definition of leadership, that we're all different and the way that we go about leadership is different. And so I just want to value and respect that. And then this idea of removing barriers. So my definition of thriving is to be fully yourself, to be able to operate in your strengths, who the Lord's created you to be. And so I think the role of a leader is to remove barriers that are in the way of people thriving. And then in the pursuit of a common goal, again, I don't think this is a new idea, but this course has really shifted my view of leadership from individualized to you're bringing people along in the pursuit of a common goal or objective. So my definition of management is an individual or group with the authority to make decisions for an organization based on profitability and sustainability. And so I think management differs from leadership, and I'll talk a little bit about this in a bit, but they are looking at just kind of different data points in order to make decisions. And so again, this course has shifted this based on profitability and sustainability. That management is looking at what's best for the organization in these specific arenas in order for us to also thrive and be in the pursuit of a common goal. So the strengths for both leadership and management are they focus on people. It's the ability to put a group of people together that are different strengths to work towards that common goal in order to meet objectives. And you do that in both leadership and management. Nordhaus talked about task behaviors and relationship behaviors, and that really helped me think about leadership and management. And so relationship behaviors, I would say, are emphasized in leadership, and the emphasis is on influencing. I read an article that was written in 2009, and the author said, leadership is influencing others to achieve a common goal, while management focuses on those task behaviors, and so it's directing. And that's when that profitability, sustainability comes into play. And so it's supervisory direction, decision-making of a group or an organization. So then the synergies of leadership and management. Leadership and management are different tools, but they're complementary and they strengthen each other when they're used well. And so, again, those relationship and task behaviors, they require the mastery. The way that Ricketts says it in this article is the mastery of slightly different skills and competencies. So those relationship behaviors, those task behaviors, but you need them both. And so while management produces that order and consistency from directing, leadership produces change and movement from influencing. The wisdom of a leader, a good leader, is to be able to know when to use those different skills. And so I've loved learning from my boss this year, who's really lived that out, and knowing when to be a manager, focusing on those, and then when to be a leader. My personal leadership philosophy was really fun to write and to craft and create. And so this is what the first 2 out of 4 pages look like, just so you can see what they look like. And then I'm just going to jump into looking at my core values and a couple other pieces from it. So my values are really important to me. I've done a values workout in the company I work with, but this course has really helped me refine those. And so my first value is restoration, and my definition of that is below. I play a role in making things better. I believe that the Lord created the world with potential and with work to be done, and every single thing that I do is my part in the restoration of his kingdom. Context. There's always more to the story. I think it's human nature to judge quickly and too quickly, and I'm just as bad as that at that as everyone else is. But I think that the reason we do the things we do always has a story behind it. And so before I say I can't work with that person, we just don't get along, I want to seek to understand what's going on in that person's life and why they might be acting the way that they are. Process. Good systems with collaboration make an impact. I get really frustrated when process is broken, and I get really excited when process is going well, which kind of tuned me into the fact that it's a value for me. And I just really value things working smoothly and being able to work with one another in synergy. Observation. It's vital to always pay attention. To me, that means people speak with their actions just as much as they do with their words. And so if my eyes and ears aren't open to what's going on around me, I'm going to miss something that could be helpful in the long run. And then candor is my fifth value. Transparency, especially when it's difficult. So not transparency even when it's difficult, but especially. I think that direct communication and feedback is really, really important, and conflict is even necessary. And so I really value that's also aspirational for me, just getting better at being transparent and vulnerable, even when it's hard and when it's the last thing I want to do. So in the peer-to-peer feedback on my PLP, the order of my values is actually something that switched. So restoration was at the bottom, context was somewhere near the middle, and I had a really good friend say, hey, are you sure that that's where those fall based on your worldview and what you value? And so I really took some time and realized that restoration and context are the first two lenses that I look through when I'm living my life. And so that peer feedback was really helpful. Just a couple of things. I thought it was really helpful to go through what people can expect from me, what I can expect from them. And so just a few of those. I expect people to be honest if they're not happy with my work or behavior. I commit to celebrating differences and uniqueness. And then people can expect me to bring all of me to work every day. And I want them to know that I am who I am, regardless of situation. So then that peer-to-peer feedback again was really helpful in this piece because my boss was able to say to me, everything seems really accurate in that second page of your PLP, but know that you may value people being their whole selves all the time, maybe more than they do. And so you may be disappointed in how open or honest or vulnerable people are with you and their ability to give that direct feedback. And so that really opened my eyes to, wow, I need to take some time to think about that and realize that my expectations for people may be too high. And so the second two pieces of my PLP were just this personality profile. I love personality assessments and think they're really helpful in understanding our preferences and how we prefer to act. And so I included my Myers-Briggs and my StrengthsFinder. I mean, the Berkman is something that we use at work that has really shown me that my usual behavior, so me on my best day, and my stress behavior, me when my needs aren't being met, look really similar from the outside. And so you can see in that blue quadrant on the second page, they're kind of right up against each other. And so I've learned that I need to communicate when I'm stressed, because to other people, I don't look stressed. I feel different on the inside. I don't look different on the outside. So that's just a little bit about that. So I really enjoyed all of the texts from this class, some more than others, but I just enjoyed having to process through them and come up with insights and applications. So my most significant reflections in Kusis and Posner, becoming a better leader is a process and it requires intentional work. They talked a lot about all of these different things, engaging with others and celebrating recognition, things like that. And it's intentional, and there's skills that you build, and you don't have to have it all at once. I'm not going to be this amazing leader today, but I have things that I can work on in the future. In George, the journey to understand yourself at the deepest level is continuous. I loved how George in his book and his text just talked a lot about understanding yourself deeply in order to know how you interact with other people. In Edersheim, I loved the quote, to think about people in terms of being people with a tremendous sense of humanity and compassion for the individual, that we aren't commodities that are being traded, that you think about humanity, and that Drucker did that. And I loved that lens that Edersheim kind of wrote through, and that was really powerful for me. In Nordhaus, there's no one right answer to leadership. As we went through all the different theories, and each week we read about a different theory, just realizing that there's different ways that people lead, and that's okay, whether it's situational or authentic or any of those things, behavioral leadership, that I may have a preference in the way that I lead, but that doesn't mean that the way other people do it is incorrect. And then in the Strengths Finder book, just strengths are only helpful when they're clearly understood and communicated. So that was really big for me, because it's not just that I understand my strengths, it's that I can communicate those strengths to other people so that they can help me operate within them, whether that's a boss or a coworker or something like that. And then just in the Bible, in James, my life is not about me, it's about the Lord. And that was kind of the biggest reflection and insight I took from reading in James, was that perspective is everything. And even as I'm learning to be the best leader that I can be, and learning to use my strengths and my personality and all the things that make me me, it's not about me. It's about Jesus and what he's doing through me. And so I have to keep that perspective all the time. So Defense of my favorite author. I really liked Discover Your True North by George. It's funny. It was kind of cheesy for me, honestly. Sometimes just the way that he worded things and this idea of discovering your true north. But honestly, I really, really connected with what he had to say and the way that he went about his text. And I think a lot of that comes from my background in social services and human services, and counseling and social work, and just my view of myself as a whole person, and that everything I do is connected, and everything that's ever happened to me is connected. So that's why I really, really loved that. The chapter on crucibles especially connected with my value of context and my strength of connection, and just really enjoyed reading from him. So my 3 key learnings, everyone has a story to tell about their leadership experiences, and every story provides a learning opportunity. We can learn from everything. And then boundaries and empathy are not optional for me, they're essential. And I knew that they were important to me as I was reading and just watching videos and things like that, just learning that self-care and boundaries and being able to connect with people is essential to who I am as a leader. And then increased collaboration in this Lego world that Edersheim talks about, they lead to growth and innovation. And innovation, just being able to look at the past and look towards the future. I'm not great at that, and so that was a very key learning for this course, was learning about the importance of taking a look at the past and looking towards the present. My most impactful action item, I took this from one of my Insights posts, committing to take the time to recognize my need to keep perspective and look for what others may need instead of just myself. I think making this kind of step change and turning and understanding what other people need, while also creating boundaries for myself, was a really powerful action item for me throughout this course, and something that I want to continue to take to heart as I learn and grow. So thank you so much. One of my favorite quotes is, "The most powerful weapon on earth is the human soul on fire." And this class has really assisted me in learning more where my passions lie and where I want to head. And so I've really enjoyed this. Thank you for your time. And I also look forward to watching your videos about this course. Thank you.